put on the reel. Woody and I just flew here. I flew 30 miles. Woody, you flew about... How far did you fly? I saw that.
Maybe 25 miles?
25 miles. So he flew from Raleigh, I flew from Fayetteville, and we're just... I can't even talk.
Little bit of an adventure today. Kind of excited about it, kind of scared about it. I'll show you what's up. So first off, this is the weather forecast, and hopefully this is focusing, but here's what I want to show you. I'm launching at noon, and it says the wind is 7 miles an hour. This is the surface wind. 7 miles an hour, gusting to 21, which not only is that a lot of gust, but the gap between the wind and the gust is kind of high. They tell you not to go over 10, and that's what, 14? So kind of high-ish. And winds aloft are 26, which again is high. I don't like to go more than like 20. But if you slide this out till noon, winds aloft drop till 10, which is way better. That's the kind of day that made us want to fly in the first place. The weather for midday flying is not perfect weather, but I think it's within, stuff I've done before in my skill set and what have you. I'll show you where we're going. This is the path. So Mark Honeycutt lives somewhere around here, and I live somewhere up here. So we're gonna meet at this airport that's not exactly in the middle, but about as middle as we can find, where there is fuel and a courtesy car and things like that. Mark and I are gonna eat, get lunch. That's the same thing. I don't know. It's a para day. Come along with us.
This has to be the worst part of the flight. So I've been watching the wind for an hour, kind of taking note of every bad behavior. I'm hot because I'm overdressed for surface temperatures. I'm kind of dressed for the air with long johns and stuff. Maybe just a little bit psyched out. I've done more than this, but for some reason right now this feels like a lot. Let's see if I can send it. The wind's so switchy, kind of have to wait for favorable direction. Day like today, if you don't like the wind direction, just wait a second. You'll get a new one. That little stutter was me tapping the off switch on the risers. Well, see you soon. Alright, so first of all, it's bumpy as heck, but it's okay. I have never had a wingtip collapse on this Speedster 2, the wing I chose, and that's still true. Well, actually, I had probably 100 wingtip collapses from like acrobatic maneuvers, but from weather, I've never had a weather-induced tip collapse. Today, they are wiggling. They are trying to collapse. They haven't, but I see them like jiggle on the tips. No big deal, but yeah, it's attention grabbing. This wastewater treatment plant below me here represents my first checkpoint. I think I'm about halfway, and so far so good. The weather should be improving all afternoon and especially tonight towards sunset. So hopefully the bumpiest part is behind us, but if not, I seem to be doing fine. Alright, so it's pretty bumpy right now, and my theory is that the roofs of these houses and the dry fields I've been flying around heat up, create the thermals, and those are upwind of me. So they're kind of like the thermals blow in my direction and bounce me around. The trouble is, this has been the case for the last 30 minutes. I've had houses and dry fields upwind of me. And I'm getting bounced around so much, I'm actually like a little bit seasick. Like, I'm looking forward to landing because, just rocking and rolling. And as I say it, it's not really that bad, so you guys didn't get to witness it. But, man. Alright, well, I think we're about 85% of the way there, so I'll see you soon. I found the airport. It's up there. I think even you should be able to see it. Action cameras make everything look so far away, but it's not that close yet. I'm trying to figure out my approach. I have a rough direction that the wind is coming this way, and so I want to land, of course, into the wind. It's too bad it's not like, you know, in the same direction as the runway, because then I'd have, you know, it wouldn't be a spot landing really. I'd have all this room. But I'm gonna have to land roughly perpendicular to the runway and try and put it down in a good spot. I'm gaining altitude even though I'm not giving it any throttle. Just can't get out of his thermal. Back to big ears. Almost hit the trees from that sink. I'm gonna try and put her down right around here.
I couldn't tell what you were saying earlier, but I see one aircraft taking the active right now, and I'm like a mile out at like 2,200 feet about to land. I'm not sure if you're already on the ground or not.
Alright, so I have a problem. I gotta pull my A's. Whew. Crappy landing.
So I think I got figured out. When I landed, it wasn't a terrible landing. I'm beating myself up over it. It was actually okay. I just kind of landed on my feet and then took like a knee, you know, like sort of kneeled. The wind was coming from, hard to hold this, coming from this direction. And I think what happened is, as it came down this slope, I don't know how the camera picks up the slope, but it ditches down. And the wind came over it almost like a waterfall. So as I was gliding in, it just sort of, I lost like what seemed like 10, 15 feet of altitude, almost straight down. And I flared and almost nailed it. You know, you get what you get. So I'm gonna pack my stuff up, I guess, and wait for Mark, who's almost here. I didn't know you could do that. I would have flown down the middle. Nailed it. That's what I should have done. That's a way easier approach. I just felt like it was against some rule.
And stop.
So this is Mark, pre-mixing. And once he measures that, oh, he'll pour from that into his tank, which I just did too. You can see it still needs to be shaken up, but it's ready to go, ready for our next leg, but next comes lunch. All right, is it this silver one, the middle one, that's the courtesy car?
Yep.
That's pretty legit. Are you driving?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll be filming. We're off to lunch. I'm pretty psyched about this. My first courtesy car experience. There.
And it smells like a cigarette.
It totally does. We are here. I'm pretty sure this is Smithfield, North Carolina, and this is Gotham's Deli. It's time for lunch. So, I got a tuna melt here at Gotham. If you can't tell,
It looks pretty good.
I am now 1%. I've lost 2 pounds. I'm 1% sexier. You probably saw that.
So,
Dude, my people.
I'm
trying to vlog.
I'm trying to talk to my people.
My people need to see.
No, it's more important, right?
What'd you get?
I got a brass knuckle. Stop talking. I'm trying to make a video.
You be quiet. My people want to see what you
This is my video. Get out of here.
Shut
Come on. I'm about to eat this thing. Put on the reel. Woody and I just flew here. I flew 30 miles. Woody, you flew about... How far did you fly? I saw that.
Maybe 25 miles?
25 miles. So he flew from Raleigh. I flew from Fayetteville. And where's I can't even talk. But anyways, we met up here to get some lunch. And I think I'm going to start recording at this point. And I'll give you the rest of the trip. So we'll see you.
Smithfield's kind of a nice town.
Yeah, if you're into nice towns.
Mark, if we were smokers, would we think this car was awesome?
Yes.
Would this be like heaven on earth?
Yeah.
So this is the busiest airport I've ever landed at. There were like 3 or 4 active planes when I came in, but it's also the nicest. Oh my God, Mark is holding the door closed. And this is the pilot's lounge.
Man,
Make yourself at home.
I'm tired.
Yeah, it's a little stressful. How was your flight? Tell me.
Well, it was a little bumpy. Botched some takeoffs due to some improperly set trims. Definitely really bumpy on the way here.
Good. I'm glad you, because we were both like, oh my God, that was bumpy. And then he's on camera. He's like, well, you know, it's a little bumpy. Not that I'd notice such a thing, being a flight hero.
Yeah, right. I think so.
But anyway, this is the pilot's lounge. Pretty legit, I'd say. They say there's a computer, but I don't see it. Check this place out. Like, it is so Icarus ready. Mark was like, hey, what's the quiet room? You know, like, we check it out. I thought maybe that's where the computer would be. They have a sign for the door, which we'll ignore. Here's Mark sleeping on the couch.
Yeah, get that light out of here.
This place is so Icarus ready. Next year, up and down the East Coast. The pilot's bath. You know, toilet, sink.
Oh, hey there.
I thought I was the nervous one, but Mark's going to pee for like the 4th time since we started the launch, so I might not be alone. The winds I'm having a little hard time figuring out. I'll show you. See this windsock? It's, well, 1, hardly any wind, but 2, coming from the north. In real life, I just felt it, and it was coming from the south pretty hard. So we'll have to get that figured out. There's going to be a guy who kind of stops traffic for us, or at least alerts us to traffic, to make sure that everything is cool. And then we're going to part ways, and I'll go to Raleigh and he'll go to Fayetteville.
All right, so it's time to launch. Fuse came out of my e-start, but I had a spare. I'm waiting for a thumbs up. There he goes. It was a little bit of a crosswind launch, so I just sort of inflated, sorted out the wing, and flew away. Oh, this is really cool. So, that's my friend Ross. You guys have probably seen him before with the Blue Spider. And he launched from Raleigh, found me in the air, and now we're flying back together. I've got, I don't know, maybe 20 miles left to go, probably a little less than that. It's good times, man. The air is way smoother on the way home because it's close to sunset than it was on the way there. So I'm mostly hands-free, just goofing off, enjoying things, listening to music, and good times. So, this is a wonderful end to the night. I was gonna do a sat, because I like to do them every flight pretty much, but I lost that fuse, and I put a spare in, but I just did some like cheesy electrical tape holding it in. So I'm not 100% sure I'll be able to restart the motor, and I don't think I can do a sat with the motor running. I'm not 100% sure on that either. So, no sat today. It's just too risky, because I'm not sure my motor will start up again. Anyway, that means we'll just fly home, and good times. Ross is blowing smoke, but it's a little faint. I want to dive through the smoke ring, but I don't really see it anymore. Good times though. If I could describe my flying style, it would be this. I like to cruise around with probably too much throttle, find myself at like 2,500 or 3,000 feet, and acro down. I do that again and again and again, and that's just That's just my cup of tea. So Ross is getting banky with it. There he goes. Go, Ross. Nice. I hope I did a half-decent job filming that for him. Lord knows he's filmed tons of stuff for me. It's not like I'm the world's most experienced pilot, but for my experience level, I feel like I should be better at this than I am. So I've been practicing a lot lately. Come on, I gotta get down. Things that help me a ton. One, pick good weather. It's a little tricky. I'm just doing a great job right now. It's a little tricky when the weather has all this like rotor and turbulence in it, and the fields by me aren't huge. And the other thing is letting my trims out a touch gives me more flare authority, which is what I use to make all these tiny corrections. Try to follow this downhill. The ground's so bumpy, it kind of like kicks my ankle a little bit. I wish it was super smooth. Tucker flies with a real nice guy who also has a blue spider, and it's taken Ross to call. Ross calls the blue spider, which is the wing he has, the official wing of the YouTube sidekick, which makes me laugh. So now I'm foot dragging bottom of foot. Oh, I do like that. It's like skiing almost. You can. Ah, yeah. It's still bumpy, but I think that's better. I was doing it with my toe because I felt like I could reach farther. But when you press down with the bottom of your foot, I feel like it can almost push up a touch. So that's nice. I'm following the ground contour back down. I'm getting it. Alright, I'm home. I told Ross I was low on fuel, and I didn't think I was lying when I said it, but I checked it again, and instead of 2 liters left, I had 3, so I probably could have stayed for another 15 minutes or so. I normally do a sat here, I talked about this earlier, but because I'm not sure my motor will restart, I think I'm just going to go with something a little lower risk. Maybe wingovers. You guys want to see some wingovers? Yeah. Alright, I'm down for that. I know you're down for that. Let's get them nice. Let's do the weight shift well. Let's make them 180 degrees every time. Exactly 180 degrees. Get that head next to the risers when we do the weight shift. Yeah. Make your instructors proud, Woody. Let's do a late. Well, that wasn't exactly 180 degrees. Do them a little later. Go a little bigger. There we go. Alright, now let's do a wide one to kill it. Nice! And we'll head back to the house. That was good. You know, I'm doing barrel rolls now too, which is really cool. Barrel rolls basically an asymmetric spiral where you wait a little longer, and instead of doing like a 270, you do a 360. Took me a little while to put my head around that. When I started flying the Ozone Freeride, the Gin Carve, and the U-Turn Progress, which are all hotter wings, it kind of like unlocked barrel rolls for me. And then once I got a knack for it, I was able to take that and apply it to the Speedster 2, which previously I felt like I wasn't sure it had enough energy for barrel rolls, but it totally does. And now I'm doing them right and left. I turn better left. I'm so chatty. Sorry. I turned better left, so I was doing them left at first, and now I can do them both ways, which is, you know, the target. Speaking of target, I'm looking for the direction my windsocks are going. My prediction is that I land this way, downhill, probably near that wind, like between that tree and the windsock, which I imagine you can't see. Every time I land, almost every time, I make like an agreement somewhere out there over those trees not to hit my throttle. Like that's kind of the contract. And the objective is to be able to just sort of know your glide angle and land this thing without hitting any throttle. And the idea is that if I ever have a motor out, well, it'll just be like a standard landing for me. The easy thing to do is to kind of motor to your spot and then kill the throttle, but that doesn't give you spot landing experience. And I've been working on this for like a year now, so I typically land about where I intend to. I do know that my idle gives me a little push, so it wouldn't be exactly the same, but yeah. Ooh, leg straps are a touch uneven. Perfect. Right by the windsock and the tree. Maybe I would have been forward a few feet, but yeah, nailed it. All right. Well, today was an incredible day. Hours and hours of flying, hanging out with friends actually. Dude, I hope you liked the video. I sure like making it.
Multi-million-dollar deals, got $1 million deal. When I was younger, I would wonder how $1 million feel. And for real, it feel like I ain't even broke a seal. Cause when you drop hits, they want you to pick up the bill. Now my life is in Maryland, my heart is in Chicago. New York state of mind, but out LA, man, that's where I go. When I need to lay this shit down, so much on my mind, that's the reason I'm spitting now.
So I didn't do a set because I was worried my fuse came out and I wouldn't be able to restart, because I sort of jerry-rigged it with electrical tape. I totally could have done it. There's more chances.